So, a bit of background from myself and apprenticeships in terms of where we are. So, only talking to Dirk and Richard that the other day, it seems like the UK is maybe a little bit further down the road with apprenticeships than what's going on in the US and Chicago. And so I thought I'd just sort of frame some of that up really as part of the conversation. And I was initially thinking about where do I start this conversation? Because actually apprenticeships in the UK especially started in the 12th century, but I thought that was a bit too far to go back and bring forward the history. So today, one thing that's really interesting is the UK government back in sort of May 2010 put a big effort in focusing on trying to get people skills ready in the workplace. And apprenticeships have been around for a long time, but they made some really significant changes in 2010.
I think when you look at the reality of the maturity of apprenticeship and bachelor's programs, within the US, our maturity level is not as high as, what Paul describes.
Not over 5 million.
Yeah, we have over 5 million, right? So we're not there yet, but I think that there is definitely an opportunity to get there, and we've seen some positive outcomes, thus far. And I'll pause right there, and if there are any questions, I'll go ahead and open up the floor.
Hey, Giovanni, there's actually a really good question from Darcy.
Yeah.
So are the business units paying the salary for these apprentices during the program? If not, is HR? And then what is the projected conversion rate from the apprenticeship program?
Yeah, so we have great question. Now we have 100% conversion rate for the program. Now there have been a couple of cases where folks have not finished, but that has, been due to personal reasons, family relocations, etc. So life altering type of events, not necessarily as a result of the program. Now the cost is all in the business unit.
From my experience in running these kinds of programs, there's just constantly sort of like moving targets with the manager, director, team, company, like sort of working your way up as far as who the relationship's with, and then with the university from like instructor, professor, department, maybe career center, and then university at large. And those are all targets. And then of course, students, once you get those relationships set. So just designing really tight bridges between the companies and the university, key stakeholder at the university who helps manage the relationship with the student and the employer, and then key person inside of the company who helps sort of manage the relationship between the students and the employers.
So when I met with Sarah Danzel after her first day at Skillable, my first reaction was, are you guys supporting apprenticeships? Because this should make them job ready faster, my observation through the conversation. And so I asked ChatGPT, how can we get apprentices, new hires, job ready faster? So things like practical experience. Gamification is something that if we can use platforms that are like virtual learning labs, you're using the tools and the environment, and it's more like a game. That's really successful. But Paul, from your looking at these items, night items, are these the types of things from your experience of getting apprentice job ready are helpful?
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. And I think one of the key things, even though it's not involved on the slide, is that soft skills piece in terms of operating within the organization is really that key piece for getting them job ready as well, because that moves that person from being functional in the job, actually someone that then becomes business focused and can drive the business, make decisions, and actually really move forward rather than just go in and do my 9 to 5 and really become that impactful person.